Van Vieren and Van Heerden link again. Another penalty advantage. That'll be the third for the Stormers this half. 7 for the Sharks. Bosch, beautiful pass to Fussy, creating an opportunity. Fussy hits Werner Koch. Werner Koch is flying for the corner! For the Sharks. Bosch, beautiful pass to Fussy, creating an opportunity. Fussy hits Werner Koch. Werner Koch is flying for the corner! Vodacom URC Rugby, and they've muscled up to it as a result. But that man right there is the one that they have come to trust. Once a Shark, once a Bull, but now forever a Stormer.
Hi guys! Howzit? Welcome terug allemaal to my Afrikaans-speaking followers. Kia ora to any Kiwis. Que pasa or que tal to Spanish speakers. Yes, we just got done finishing the match. I don't even know who was man of the match. I already turned off the game. 16-15, the final score. Thank you to any of the folks that came out, the few of you that did for my live. I need to figure out how to get my live numbers up. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas or advice, post them underneath the comments of this video. But thank you guys once again. I know I've got a lot of new followers built on the Irish interview, and there will be more of those. Trust me, I am planning to do many more of those. I do like interviewing the younger generation coming up to see, because you may not always agree with like their ideals or whatnot, or, you know, but like that's the future. I'm in my 40s. In 20 years, they're going to be my age, and they're going to be in the same position, and hopefully they look to the youth, and they know the future of the sport and this game that we all absolutely love. So thank you guys, all you subscribers. You guys make it worth it. Even if I could have 50 subscribers, I'd be happy with you guys. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the news and notes from this game. I've got a couple of opinions to add to it, too. But the first one, the big part of it, was I've reached out to my buddies in the KZN, or KZN, as we would say in America, KZN. Eben Etzebeth. Where was he? He was in the box. He was up in the coach's box with Plumtree. No idea the injury. I'm not really getting anything. Maybe it's been announced. I just haven't seen it. But no Eben Etzebeth on the starting, on the roster day. He did not dress. But for the first 8 minutes, the Sharks were just attack. But then just handling issues. It just nothing was really happening for them. And then finally, at the 9th minute, the very first scrum of the game, and deep in Stormers territory, and it results in a penalty, on the Sharks. And it's just, oh man, you just couldn't see, nothing was really gelling on either side. The Stormers seemed to maintain a little bit better, but the Sharks, you could just see they were just trying to, pummel, and it just wasn't happening. The 15th minute, we finally hit Pater. Andre Smith, the big lock for the Western Province. Starts out, obviously, with the guy I brought up in last week's video. Another excuse to pop this image up on the screen here. Yes. He drank from the Holy Grail, which is actually the Webb Ellis Cup. Dion 40 starts out a good wide right run. A little bit of offloads here and there. It eventually ends up in the hands of Smith, the big lock for the Stormers, and he crosses at the 15th minute, and Libok converts. It is 7-0, 15 minutes into this. So multiple penalties on the Sharks at the 21st minute. I mean, repeated penalties. 5-meter line out for the Stormers, but they end up committing a penalty in the line out, so it gives them nothing. 6 minutes later, the Stormers are pressuring 7 phases deep. Ruanel gets the ball, and you can see, Lucanio kind of coming at an odd angle. I think Fossey was Werner Koch, I think, was also in there. He kind of bends at a weird angle, and automatically Payne, right knee, Koch drops down. Werner Koch drops down to say no. And it hasn't been announced yet but I'm pretty sure that's an ACL, MCL injury. He ends up getting carted off the pitch. He is given the thumbs up and whatnot as he's going off the pitch. But you never want to see an injury like that, especially, because we're not all Sia Khaleesi. We all don't have 3 months to recover from something like that. And, prayers with him and his family. I'm not a religious or spiritual person, but good vibes. Please be, if it is an ACL, MCL, let it not be a major one, and it's something he can recover from and be playing again within the calendar year. But it looked pretty bad. When your opposing players are jumping down on the ground and like grabbing your hand, like this is a bad news. But that also just says so much about our sport. Like as soon as that happened, you had and Koch just like, oh shit, this guy's in pain. Like that says so much about our sport. Like, these guys recognized that this guy is in serious trouble. Stop. Help him out, whatever they can. They end up getting him on, like I said, he gets on the gurney, gets carted off the field, is given the thumbs up as he's leaving, but I'm pretty sure that is an MCL or ACL injury to ruin Nell, which is never a good thing. But we finally get a restart, and I mean, like, this is another opinion, man. Look, I think I'm not isolated in this opinion about the game. But, like, look, man, I get maybe resetting a scrum twice, okay? You get into that third, fourth, and fifth time, that is when I, as a referee, after the third time, I would be like, look, we fuck around again, somebody's either getting carded or I'm giving a penalty. There's no reason to reset it 5 times, which is what ends up happening. They do reset it 5 times. Like on the 5th time, the Sharks finally the Stormers finally get a penalty in their favor, deep in their own end, and Libok does elect to kick. He is 2-2 on the day, and it's 10-0 at the 30th minute. 6th minute or 36th minute, Fossey gets it. He's running. It's out wide. I'm watching. They've got numbers. He gets it out to Werner Koch. I like Werner Koch. I think he's great. Big, broad shoulder, the long hair, just a good athlete, He gets it. He does cross, but I mean, he's out wide, and I don't expect Bosch to make the conversion, and he does not. Like it's one of those out wide deep, and it's just like, okay, you're not going to make this kick. So we go into half with the score 10-5. Right at the half, restart, still within the first minute of the second half, a penalty on the Sharks, deep in their own end. Libok elects to kick, and God, what a fucking bad kick. Like, he wasn't even close. And I mean, it wasn't from that far out. Like, he was literally, like, you could have taken the goalposts and moved them one spot over to the left, and he might have still even missed that. Like, or he would have been, like, right on the edge. Not looking good. 3 minutes later, another penalty on the Sharks deep in their own end, and Libok does finally convert on this one. 3 of 4 on the day, and it's 13-5. 52nd minute, a scrum penalty on the Stormers, and Bosch elects to kick. He does nail it through. He's 1-2 on the day, and it's 13-8. 52 minutes into this one. 57th minute, Sharks on advantage, and Roll finally hits Pater. He crosses over at the 57th minute. And unfortunately, there is also a yellow card on Fermack, the Stormers forward. And Nell does convert, does make it a 16-15, the narrowest of margins for the Stormers at this point. 65th minute, the Sharks are getting like multiple opportunities. They're just not sealing the deal. And that was kind of the whole game for them. We saw it in the first 8 minutes of the game. They'd get momentum, they'd get phases, but it was just like they'd get there and then just nothing really solidified. And I don't know if that's a coaching issue, if that's I don't know. I really don't know. It's just not, just things weren't gelling. And at the 65th minute was another perfect example. They get all this momentum, and then just nothing would really, it's just like it just wasn't clicking for them. So we get out of the last 15 minutes of the game. 66th minute, a scrum penalty on the Sharks. Manny kicks it to touch. Finally off the line out, couple of resets, line out. Hugo Venter, he crosses under a pile of bodies, but it does end up coming back. The TMO, I had to look this up. I've never heard this term. Apparently it was an older thing, but double banking, which I had to look up. It's when instead of having one solitary row, you have two rows on the line out. So it's a double bank. It does come back. The 75th minute, the Sharks win a scrum penalty, or the Sharks get a scrum penalty. And that was kind of it. Like I said, the big key statistic for me was the penalties, and it was 16-8. Sharks with 16, Stormers with 8. And that's what it was at the end of the day. The Sharks kept shooting themselves in the foot. There were moments where the Stormers would rack up penalties, multiple ones back-to-back, like that happened towards the end of the game. But it's just like the Sharks just weren't. Something's just not gelling there. And I mean, I think it's obvious by their record, but something's just not gelling. I mean, they've got talent, obviously. You know, they've got a crap ton of All Blacks, or I'll tell you why I said that in a moment. But they've got a crap ton of Springboks on their roster, and it's just not gelling. It's just not there. 47-53. They did have the more possession in the game, but that's not that big of a deal. And I will tell you why the dreaded ABs came out of my mouth. They did have a debut today. Joel Hintz, formerly of Major League Rugby, the current champion of Major League Rugby, the New England Free Jacks, excuse me. Glory is DC. And he is a Kiwi, and he was rubbish. He was rubbish. Pretty bad. Mattia, the debut for the Stormers, actually not that bad of a kid. I think he's got promise, but the Sharks just don't have it. It's just not gelling for them. And I really wish I had answers. I'm obviously not a rugby coach, but it's just not gelling. And I'm of the personal belief that if this is it, like if this is how it's going to be, I had said it in my live broadcast. I don't know if I'd said it in this video too. If Jake White was coaching the Sharks, they would be friggin' ridiculous. I don't think Plumtree has that cutthroat. Like in America, we say it's having that dog in them. Okay? We say they got that dog in them. You've probably heard it on TikTok too or whatever. But like a guy like Rassie has that dog in him. Andy Farrell has that dog in him. Eddie Jones in his prime had that dog in him. Jake White in his prime had that dog in him. It's just that cutthroatness. I just don't see it from Plumtree. I don't see that like cutthroat, like, I'm not saying being an abusive coach, but like he just doesn't have that dog in him, man. He doesn't have that like that just oomph. Because if he had it, the team wouldn't be this bad. Just my personal opinion. I feel bad for people in KZN because that's your team and you got all these stars and the team is rubbish. I think the Lions could beat the I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see it. Like, you got beat by Zebra Parma. Now, I know it's after a World Cup year, and it always is odd in these competitions the year after the World Cup or right after the World Cup. But bloody hell, man. Like, you shouldn't be that bad. So does Plumtree need to go? In my opinion, yeah. Because you need to get a coach that has that dog in him. And Plumtree don't have it. He does not have it. Period. So we still got one more game on the round. We got the Lions and the Bulls. I think the Bulls beat the brakes off the Lions. Just my personal opinion. But I won't be going live. This will probably be the last video for me on here for the rest of the year. I will see you guys after New Year's. The missus and I, our plans for New Year's Eve, possibly going to an ice hockey game. Don't know, not 100% solid on that, but we are playing a tournament on Wii. Yes, the old Wii system, Mario Baseball. It's a winner-take-all tournament. I know it's not very exciting, but that's what my plans are. If you're going to be out and about, be safe. Don't drink and drive. I mean, I don't drink. I'm going to be drinking my non-alcoholic Guinness as my beer. Just be safe out there, man. New Year's Eve, drunks, all that kind of thing, man. I don't want to get any messages from anybody saying, hey, man, I got, such and such got in a car wreck or somebody got hit by a car. Like, I bloody hate that about this time of year because you always hear that with the New Year's. So I hope all of my followers, if you're drinking, man, be smart about it. Don't do anything stupid. And if you're with your family, hug your kids, hug your missus, kiss your missus. And, we live in I don't want to go into too much of a philosophical thing, but introspective here, okay? Like, look, we live in some dark times right now, and it seems like everything's really, really sketchy all the time. But I want you, those of you who have kids, I want you to look at your kids, and I want you to have at least a little hope that they're going to make things right. Because that's how I look at the youth. They're going to make things right. Now, I know we might look at the youth and the things they do and kind of shake our head because I do it a lot too. But I'm positive about the future. I try to be optimistic about the next generation that comes, and maybe they'll do things right. You never know. With that being said, I hope everybody has a very happy and safe New Year's, and I will see you guys next year. Cheers, guys.